Cover your mouth post pickup. Could be the move. Not sure who started this trend in the NBA. Ron, Jordan, Tom Gugliotta, whoever it was, I respect it. Don't need Woj asking John Boy what the boys were discussing post All-Star game. About to be my new move post 3v3 runs. Make me look like I can ball. Bro, Muscat game. He's talking like LeBron over there. Meanwhile, me and the boys are on favorite goldfish flavors, where we're watching the game tonight. How nobody in Survivor uses their idol anymore. Haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking it could be the move.
Good morning, Sweet World, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Monday, May 13th, 2024. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
13. I love that number.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, Natasha Hotboy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo.
Ayo. And last but not least, over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. That was a very, very funny cold open. Congratulations on that one, JD.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Good find. It was new to me. You know, it was fresh.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's hard to find those now.
That's right.
Everybody, we're all in the same algorithm over here.
That's absolutely true. I'm convinced every tweet I see and I share, Trey especially, is seeing it as well, if not sharing it.
I think you're getting those tweets because I'm liking them.
I think so.
That's how the algorithm works,
Wow.
baby.
Yeah. Is this podcast about the algorithm?
It might be.
It's incredible to me that you hadn't seen that because it's got basketball, it's got Survivor, and it's
flavored water.
Yeah, I like how he drinks that. No lips to that can. Maybe they were sharing it.
No lips.
Very funny cold open. Here we are, though. Shout out to the stream team joining us live on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe, podcast listeners. 5 stars only, baby. Appreciate it. Share the show with your friends. We got lots to talk about. We're going to touch on all 4 playoff series. We had 6 total games from the weekend, and we'll get to the NBA draft lottery and drop a couple cacas up in here. But let's start with Sunday's games. We'll work backwards. Defending champ, Denver Nuggets, tying their series against the Wolves. 115-107 there in game 4. Your thoughts?
Those defending champs look like the champs.
I did.
I was waiting for game 4, though, because I just wanted to see how Minnesota would react to Denver changing up the way they play. Everybody was bringing up the ball in game 3, so Minnesota couldn't pummel them with their defense. And they did the same thing to start game 4, but I thought Denver kind of flubbed at the beginning with Aaron Jokic pushing the ball, gave it to Aaron Gordon, and he just had a bit of a hand tussle where he just dropped the ball. It looked like he could have had a dunk, and then Anthony Edwards on the same possession comes the other way and gets all the way to the hoop. Why don't you stop the ball, Denver? Anthony Edwards is going to get going, and he obviously did. He was phenomenal. He just didn't have any help, especially in that first quarter. Cat did a little flex when he kind of stopped Nikola Jokic. Jokic just didn't hit a shot over him, but I don't know why Cat was flexing. Maybe he was a little overreacting, but he just stopped hitting shots on the other end while the Nuggets just kept coming. Was Aaron Gordon, Jokic, obviously, Reggie Jackson. They had a 5-point lead going to the second quarter, and then their bench came out and was bananas. 12-2 to start that second quarter. Justin Holiday hit 2 consecutive threes. Justin Holiday, the guy didn't play for the Denver Nuggets this year, basically, and he's leading the team in three-pointers made this series, which is nuts.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. But Minnesota did fight back. They had Conley go to the bench, and they had a triple tower plan. They had Naz Reid playing with Towns and Gobert. They were fine until the incredible run to end the quarter. It was a 7-point lead for the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
It wasn't a monstrous lead, but then they go on that 8-0 run, which we're all going to be talking about forever. It feels like the Reggie Jackson 3, the Michael Porter dunk, and then boom, that Jamal Murray 3.
So cool.
Oh my God.
Where he does the pose in front of the broadcast crew in front of Harlan. That 3 was phenomenal to make it a 15-point game. And then they just kept it going and going and going, and Ant just needed some help. And
Right.
Cat, unfortunately, couldn't get them going. But the Jokic, Aaron Gordon especially, and Jamal Murray, that's the thing. Jamal Murray had only scored 4 points until he hit that 3. And then, I mean, it felt like everybody was just coming from the Nuggets. That was an awesome shot. Awesome photos coming from Jamal Murray on that scorer's table.
Yeah, they
That
scored
was
8 points in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
That was like, what's Michael Buffer? No, Bruce Buffer is the guy in the UFC. When he's introducing like title fights, it's him and the guy out there. He's screaming in his face, the Korean zombie! Looking eye to eye. That was Kevin Harlan, man. That was so cool, and it definitely unlocked Jamal Murray a little bit. Went for 12 points in the third quarter. I thought the Nuggets in games 3 and in games 4, they were just so much more aggressive, so much more intentional about getting into their offense. You mentioned the Hollinger article on The Athletic. Basically, they said, Jamal Murray, we don't need you wasting your energy getting hounded by Jaden McDaniels up and down the court. We'll let anybody else bring the ball up. It allows Murray to play off the ball. I thought Jokic came out with a mindset to dominate in game 4, 11 points in the first quarter, went 5 for 7 from the field, and like every time Gobert was on him one-on-one, his eyes lit up. I'm going down there. I'm going to score. He scored 19 in the first quarter. It was similar to the way Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. started game 3. They came out looking to score. A lot of pop from them. Murray was great in the third quarter in game 4, and then Jokic slams the door shut in the fourth quarter. 16 points for him, the most he scored in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. This guy's got a championship. This guy has showed up in the playoffs time and time again. So to get that kind of performance in a fourth quarter on the road in a must-win game 4, that was huge. The Nuggets shot 54% in game 3, 57% from the field in game 4 on the road against the best defense in the league. People are telling you this is the third best defense of the past 100 years. Right. And they lit them up.
They did.
Yeah, especially after going down 2-0, everyone was pouring dirt on the Nuggets and saying it was a wrap. You had people saying maybe this is a sweep. How can they even get by this defense? They switched things up and it worked, and they were awesome there.
Well, we're switching it up in here.
On here, yeah. Camera action there. But yeah, that run at the end of the first half was wild. Yeah. And it was some, honestly, boneheaded decisions by the Wolves, too. Incredible shot making by the Nuggets, don't get me wrong. Like that pass to Reggie, and we've seen Jokic make that pass a million times. He hits the 3. But then Anthony Edwards, what are you doing? You probably want to hold for last shot on that one. He drives in there, he fumbles the ball. That's the Michael Porter Jr. dunk. And then Nickeil Alexander-Walker, what are you doing? Who was he throwing it to?
He just chucking it.
It was like throwing it. It was like maybe we'll see that in Paris come later this summer. It was a Canadian throwing it to a Canadian, but that guy was on the wrong team. Jamal just got it, and then, hits the 55-foot bomb. He drops in the stance, and then, they're, looking at Harlan screaming on the call. It was incredible, but that was huge because in the end, they win this game by 8 points. Those were pretty important 8 points
big
there.
Run.
And it got Jamal Murray going. You said he had 12 of his points there in that third quarter. Jokic took over in the fourth. And the bench, just to go back to them, 27 points for Denver's bench. 6 of 9 from deep. You had Reggie Jackson doing a great job in limited minutes, but giving Jamal Murray a little bit of a break to rest. Justin Holiday, this guy's on fire from 3. Those timely 3-pointers, anytime the Wolves had a little bit of a run. And then Christian Brown, too, 11 points, 3 boards. He played with great energy. He got the most minutes of that bunch, but they got something from Denver's bench. Huge reason why this series is now 2-2, which is exciting, obviously, that we're going to have a best-of-3 series now.
Yeah, you got to name all the Nuggets who contributed because they needed them. They really, truly did. Jamal Murray had 4 points of their 61 before he hit that big 3 and then started going, and he still talked trash to Anthony Edwards at the end of this game, who had a monstrous game. Anthony Edwards had a monstrous game of 44 points. I thought, that possession there where he did turn it over, he went at the right time. It was 7 seconds remaining. You go at 7 seconds, but somehow he just kind of lost the ball at the free throw line. He did.
Good play by Porter.
He just one tiny mistake of a guy who's cooking, and post game was basically like, the other team has the best player in the world who touches the ball all the time, which I think is, I need to touch the ball just a little bit more. And unfortunately, Karl Anthony Towns just wasn't that guy. He really wasn't. He was trying to post up. I mentioned that flex at the beginning of the game because it was like he was trying to force himself into the game, and I think that's what he was doing with his shots. Yes. But he was desperate.
He unfortunately does that from time to time. He's had a really good series. Through the first 3 games, he was averaging 20 points per game. His splits were incredible. They were like 60, 60, and 80. But there's not many guys in the league, TK, I think, that when they have a bad game, look as bad as Cat does. He was 1 of 10 in the first half. He finished 5 of 18. 13 points, 12 boards, 3 assists, but I think you're right, Tass. He gets into force mode. And obviously he picks up the dumb fouls here and there. This was just a really bad one for him.
It snowballs for Towns. I guess Julius Randle is the only other guy I would throw in the mix. Like when it starts going bad for them, they can't seem to necessarily flip it on its head and change their face, be happy. But honestly, the first pumpkin game for Towns, but he was brutal. In this one, at the start of the third quarter, the Nuggets went at him 4 straight times, scored all 4 times with basically the same play. They would have Gordon bring the ball up, dribble handoff to KCP. He swings it to Jamal Murray, 2-man game. Murray and Jokic basically targeting Towns. First, it was Murray goes by him for an easy lefty layup. Then he hits the pull-up jumper over him. Then they try some other stuff, and the Nuggets just had an answer for everything that the Timberwolves were trying to do. I am a little curious about Anthony Edwards, because you mentioned maybe he would like the ball more. He took 25 shots, biggest usage percentage on the team, 44 points. Kind of wonder if the Nuggets played it Timberwolves style. Go crazy. Go crazy, Edwards. Because nobody else did anything.
Yeah, they weren't going to get the ball out of his hands, but they were showing him sort of 2 guys like a few feet away to let him do his thing, whatever he wanted, but they were still able to take everybody else away. Yeah. They weren't letting Jaden McDaniels go off or Mike Conley go off, who contributed a little bit in this game. He was available to shoot 25 shots. Yeah, what he was saying, I don't know, maybe the Rudy Gobert help me out kind of thing. Don't let Nikola Jokic pull the chair out of you as he did late in this game, or Carl step up. Carl, come on, do it, Carl. But he's just being himself. He's just talking a little bit of trash. But at the same time, he was respecting the other team. I have faith that they will respond a little bit, but the way the Nuggets responded, as you mentioned, all those guys, because Jokic went to the bench early in the third quarter. He picked up 2 quick fouls. He had 4 fouls, and he went to the bench, but everybody contributing to help him out. I thought he was going to be, as you said, Anthony Edwards, a lot of shots, 25 shots. Same for Jokic in this game. I thought it was going to be one of those, or 26 for him. I thought it was going to be one of those games where he shot 30-plus times like he did in last year's postseason in round 2 when it tried to go through him, but he had to go to the bench. And so other guys came through, and Christian Brown was awesome. Mike Malone said, Payne Watson, you're out. Justin Holiday, you're in. And even Reggie Jackson only played 9 minutes in this game because he had a pretty bad turnover with Nickeil Alexander-Walker guarding him. I guess they wanted another point guard out there, and Christian Brown. Everybody's just playing point guard for this freaking team.
We haven't mentioned Aaron Gordon as well. 27 points, 11 of 12 shooting. I don't think he missed until the final 4 minutes of the game. He was 11 for 11 up to that point, but when he is hitting 3-pointers, they look like an unstoppable team. That's the thing. And he's shooting it really well. He doesn't shoot a ton, but I think he hit a couple in this game. And he just had, usually Aaron Gordon, it's all around the rim. It's all dunks. Some of it fast break, whatever, but it's Jokic finding them. And he did that as well. But when the jumper's falling or the three's falling, it's just a whole other level to this team. He was amazing in this game.
He could get a game ball. I mean, it goes to Jokic, number 1. Yeah. But Gordon was probably second star on the night, I thought, for Denver because he was their point guard when Jokic would go to the bench, and the Nuggets won the non-Jokic minutes in this game. In the first half, in the second quarter, a 9-0 run as soon as Jokic checks out. In the second half, third quarter, a 6-0 run as soon as Jokic checks out. You got to win the minutes when Jokic's on the bench. That's how you beat the Nuggets because it's tough. Well, he's going to score all the time, and you're right. Gordon totally had everything going. He hit a fadeaway over Rudy Gobert in the mid-range. I was like, what? Yeah. That's just his night. And it definitely was. He was also pretty solid, I thought, defensively on Ant, at least making him work since he was one-on-one against him quite a few times. He had a steal, had a couple of blocks, 6 assists. He really did everything out there. And then you mentioned it, the non-shooters on the Nuggets outshot the shooters on the Timberwolves. 8 threes combined from Gordon, Brown, Holiday, and Reggie Jackson. 5 threes combined from Conley, Towns, Naz Reid, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who had a brutal game.
He had a brutal weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who had been playing well through the postseason, but not a good weekend for him. But we have a series here. Now, do you think, like I said, when Denver goes down 2-0, they lose both games at home, they're flustered, they're throwing, heating packs on the ground, and everybody was like, it's over, it's a wrap, they're done, they have met their match in Minnesota. Do you think the same's going to happen here now, Tass, that Now Denver wins these 2 games on the road, and everyone's like, well, now it's over for Minnesota. They had to take one of those at home, and they're ready to pour dirt on them now. Do you think that could happen? The pendulum swings that hard?
Yes, the pendulum is swinging.
Do you believe that, though?
I think it's the Nuggets series.
Okay.
Are they dead? Are the Timberwolves dead? No, I do not believe that. But the coffin's going down. I mean, they're getting the nails ready to knock.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think the Nuggets are playing their best basketball of this postseason right here, right now.
Okay.
And this is the Timberwolves' first adversity of this postseason. They came from the sweep against Phoenix. They lose Game 3, And they didn't react other than Anthony Edwards, who was smoking. Obviously, there's good plays from other guys in this game. But you needed somebody to step up. It wasn't Cat. It wasn't Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Naz Reid was biting a lot. Even though he scored, he was biting a lot on Jokic's ball fakes over and over and over again. They need a second guy. And it was Aaron Gordon in this one. It reminded me of the finals when Aaron Gordon, Game 4, where they basically put away the Heat, and he led the Nuggets in scoring. It reminded me of that. The exact same amount of points, the exact number of makes in 11. He didn't lead the team in scoring because Jokic was so awesome in this game, but they got a number 2.
Yeah.
And Jamal Murray didn't have to be spectacular. Obviously, we're going to remember his face up against Kevin Harlan's face, but they got. Are they dead? Are the Timberwolves dead? Do you think? This is game 5
series.
Yeah, Game 5 is Jokic's celebration of the MVP trophy at home in Denver too. That's a little another boost for Denver's. At home, they got to win on the road. This is going to be very tough for the Wolves.
We always say a series hasn't started until the road team wins. But now this is the opposite series where we haven't had a home team actually win a game. So we'll see what happens in Game 5. Any other random notes from this one? We did have Rudy and Cat slipping.
Oh, yeah. That looked like it could have been bad.
Could have been very bad. We see this from time to time. The one guy's down, the other guy comes to help him out, and whoop, legs go out from under him, but he seemed okay. And the only other note I have is Rudy, once again, slipping in his money signs when, he's implying that the refs are being paid off, and then they went to the clip where he got called for the foul, and he fouled. It was like, weird choice to pull out that one. I don't know if he'll get another fine for that. Maybe it was too quick. He just did a very quick.
He didn't get as many rubs with his fingers.
Not a lot of rubs.
Yeah. Hand up.
Anything else from this one?
Nah.
No. Okay, let's keep it
nice
going.
match.
What do you got?
Yeah, their team only shot 12 more free throws. The Wolves only shot 12 more free throws than the other team. So, are they paid off to make the Wolves win, or what's going on?
It was weird for him to do it because they literally showed the play where he got the foul, and it was like, yeah, that's a foul, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway,
I just found this note interesting. Only one team has come back from 2-0 being down after losing the 2 games at home, and then went on to win the championship that same season. Only one team has ever done it. Lost 2 in one of those first few series at home, and then went on to win the championship. Only one team has done it.
The Toronto Raptors did not lose their. No, they did not. They were
this team. We all became fans at the same time. This team, it's early in our fandom.
So it's either the Bulls or the Rockets.
Yes, it is the 90s. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's not one of those teams?
It is.
I think it's the Rockets.
It is the Rockets, yeah.
Bulls never went down 0-2.
Yeah. So which one was that?
It was 94. Against the Suns. Barkley just went to the finals, then they went up 2-0 against Houston. Houston took care of them in round 2. Just like this one.
Ooh,
just like this one.
Okay. Let's keep it going here. We had a blowout on Sunday. Mother's Day Massacre. It will be known as. That's what they called it. Halliburton and the Pacers take advantage of the shorthanded Knicks here. They even their series. We're 2-2 over here in the East as well. 121-89 in Game 4. I mean, Trey, I don't know when you turned this one off. Was it at the half? Maybe you gave it some third quarter, but they went on a 29-7 run, Indiana did. They had like a 23-point lead in the first quarter. It finished with them up 20 at the end of the quarter, and New York was never within 15 after that. They cruised to a 32-point victory. What were your takeaways from that one?
14 points in the first quarter was when it was over. It was really it. I mean, yeah, it's hard to come back from down 20, even though it happens all the time, but it's hard for a Knicks team that has not a ton of players playing right now against a Pacers team that's being pretty smart about the way they attack things. They're saying, hey, we got guys, we're running as much as we possibly can, and they dominated in Game 4, and I thought they were pretty solid in Game 3 as well. So, yeah, this one was really over by halftime. I mean, if you're a Knicks fan, the silver lining is that Dante DiVincenzo only played 32 minutes.
Yep.
Jalen Brunson only 31 minutes. All your other starters were under 30, and Alec Burks is alive. Jericho Sims, Shake Milton, they exist. I saw him on the court.
Yeah, you did.
Baby. But, yeah, the Pacers, they looked awesome. Halliburton has been great. He had a bad Game 1. He's been maybe the best player on the court for the last 3 games, has really strung some things together here. And then the biggest weapon, I do believe, for the Pacers is their bench right now, because they come in, they play even faster than the starters do. TJ McConnell went for 15 points and 10 assists. Isaiah Jackson, 10 points, 6 rebounds. And Obi Toppin, 14 points and a sick reverse alley-oop.
Oh, that was sick.
That looks really nice.
Yeah.
This guy's putting together a highlight reel of dunks just from this series. Been very, very impressive. But but you compare it to the Knicks bench, who did get some decent performances from Burks in particular. Miles McBride was hitting, but that does just seem like a big-time advantage for the Pacers, and they know that their effort really pushes them over the top. It's just a matter of, can the Knicks starters keep it close for their minutes, win their minutes? They obviously weren't able to in this game.
Yeah, I saw CBS Sports, right. After 3 weeks of nail-biters, the Knicks finally folded. Because they've had a lot of close games. Even that one on Friday night where Andrew Nembhard hits the grenade there, that 31-foot bomb where Halliburton just gave it to him with like 4 seconds on the shot clock, and he hit it, and they pull out that victory. But all these close Knicks games, Tass, obviously have had some impact maybe on these guys, and it caught up to them there on Sunday when they just got blown out of the water.
Yeah, that's why I also was ready to pull the plug in the first quarter, because you see the starters go down like that, and then you see the Pacers bench come out where TJ McConnell was awesome. We always say that, but he did have a bad game in Game 3. It was a quiet one, 6 points, 1 assist, and he bounced back with 15 and 10 in this one. They were just getting them from everywhere. The fast break points were monstrous in this one. They just keep moving the ball, and they were up 43 at one point in this game. So they just really gave it to them. And yes, Tibbs pulled the plug early in the fourth, but I mean, you could pull the plug in the third. As you said, all those minutes for the starters, I guess that's a good thing, when we see them come back. But the Pacers still haven't lost a game at home this postseason. Mm-hmm. They cook at home. You could see them. Did you see some of those fans were like, all right, get out of here, to some of those Knicks players. They're ready to get them out. I was trying to do it.
Well, they'll be back.
I was trying to do a New York City
accent there?
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
I thought you were doing an Indiana accent.
I was. I turned to Indiana. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm an Indiana guy now. But it's I'm walking here. Get out of here. Yeah, they don't go together. Anyway.
So you're saying Pacers fans were doing a Knicks accent?
Oh,
I mean a New York accent.
At least one of them was. I did a John Boy reading. I couldn't hear them, but I know that's what they were doing. Okay. I'm pretty sure. This was a blow.
It was.
Strictly.
The Pacers did everything well. They obviously shot the three ball well. 14 of 31. Knicks went 7 of 37. New York has been one of the best three-point shooting teams in the entire postseason. They were shooting like 40% from distance, so they had a really bad game. And then the Pacers to win the rebounding battle in Game 4, 52 to 43. Again, that's a Knicks thing. Now they're missing a bunch of guys. They're missing a bunch of bigs. But, they led the NBA in rebounding rate in the regular season. They had done good jobs on the boards through the first three games, and this one, the Pacers got it done. And then you already said it, TK, the pace. That was Pacers play. That fast break, I think it was 22 to 5 for Indiana. And we had seen the Knicks, they had been playing that type of game through a couple of these first three games. They seemed okay with it. They really went for it in Game 3, obviously, leaning into heavy minutes on their guys. But right from the jump, it was over in a heartbeat. This game really was. It was like, oh, it's a nice day out here in Atlanta. You can probably go outside for the second half if you want. It doesn't feel like the Knicks are coming back in the third quarter, even though first half leads are fake.
Not this one.
No,
they were tired, man. They didn't have it. It was an early start, too, like 3:30 after playing on, Friday night?
Friday night,
You know, that's not even 48 hours of turnaround time, and you could just feel it.
Yeah, every single game in this series feels like a new series. And I wonder if it's better to get blown out for the Knicks just to, number one, get a little bit of rest, but also just be ready, how teams perform after getting blown out. And obviously, going back to New York, they should feel a heck of a lot better.
We call crowds like the sixth man. They actually have to be the sixth man for the Knicks, this depleted Knicks team. And I think they will. I mean, they give them something there. Brunson was horrible in Indiana, too, by the way. 16 of 43. 2 of 11 from 3. Now, some of that was the switch up from what the Pacers did, right? Nesmith, more size on him. Did a great job, especially in Game 3 on him. And then they continued to slow him, so we know he's injured too. It's the foot is not 100%, but he'll have to play better.
Also just off. It looked a little bit more like the first two games against Philadelphia where his first couple shots were long and then the rest of them were short. Just something a little bit off. Nesmith obviously helped.
More size. I mean, he figured out that Sixers series as it went on. You're right.
A little bit, yeah. But also the only thing I really worry about for the Knicks is Hartenstein went down hard on his shoulder.
Yes.
And they need him because their other center is gone in Mitchell Robinson. And he will play, but they did do some MRIs. They were negative. Some X-rays, I should say. So it's a new series. If you're best 2 of 3, here we go.
They might need OG. We don't know his status, I guess, for for Game 5.
He's running in water. That guy's not going to play this series.
He's running in water.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they said on the Hoop Collective today.
Okay.
Running in water.
It's not probably a good sign. No.
No. You play on land.
Yeah. I'd like to see a game in water. Jokic would be great.
Dude, water polo. Pool basketball is the second best sport after regular basketball.
Pool basketball.
You ever play? You never dribble?
That's interesting. You think it's better than trampoline basketball?
Easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
I'm more worried of a broken leg in trampoline basketball than an accidental drowning in pool basketball.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I also like it more. You can't get injured as much. That's what they're doing with OG Anunoby. His hamstring hurts.
Yeah.
So I guess they're running him in water. Cardio is still up. The heart's still pumping, but nothing going on with the hammy,
So is anyone ready to? I mean, if OG's not playing, these guys are all banged up. They just continue to get more and more injuries. Like you said, to Hartenstein, Brunson's not getting healthier. Can the Pacers pull this off and win this series? Would you change your pick? Most of us were Knicks, I believe, in a longer series. But what do you think?
We were all Knicks.
Yeah.
Pacers can win this series, but I would still be confident in the Knicks. I think they're going to play their best game in Game 5.
Yeah, I'm expecting a Hart and DiVincenzo bounce back games.
Okay.
I got the Knicks.
Okay.
Who are you taking?
Pivotal Game 5. No, I'll still go Knicks.
Yeah. Okay.
But look, I like the switch ups that Indiana has done. Most of the role players always play better at home. We'll see if that, can they do it in Madison Square Garden? I truly believe like the fans are almost a player for this team. The way they're so banged up and how great that building is. Can't wait for pivotal Game 5 though. We
got won a couple of games already. Yelling at the refs.
Exactly. Let's go to Saturday's games. This was an awesome playoff game, I thought. Game 3 between the Thunder and Mavs. Kyrie coming through in the clutch, helping the Mavs hold off OKC. They take the 2-1 lead in their Western Conference semifinals matchup. Again, this was awesome. It was back and forth affair for like 48 minutes. Yeah. I thought both teams were giving it their all. We obviously have the Dort-Luka matchup, which is just a battle. But they pull it out in the victory. What do you thought of the Saturday victory here for Dallas?
Well, the Mavs can win without their greats, leading their team in scoring. Again, PJ Washington was awesome.
This guy's on fire.
He is. Leading his team with 27, and he kept that Game 2 flow going early at 11 points in the first quarter, cashing in on every chance. He hit 2 lefty hooks. They're kind of pushy, hooky shots. Yeah. PJ Washington, of all people.
He started the game with a dunk. Like a semi-poster. Like it was out of nowhere. Caught everybody by surprise.
Yeah, and then Kyrie, the game winner, was a lefty push shot, hook shot. The Mavs are a lefty team. I don't know how, but somebody's got to create it. This was fun, and what was really interesting in that fourth quarter, where OKC and Dagnott start fouling Derek Lively on purpose to send him to the line. The Rook, is he going to be able to perform? He goes 1 of 4 in the first 2 attempts. 2 tries to go to the line. That's when Jason Kidd sits him on the bench. Just take a breather, my friend. Then he puts him right back in, and then he hits his next 4.
It was huge.
Take a breather, my friend.
That was huge. Those were clutch, man. Yeah.
That's why they tanked last season, to be able to go get this guy, and he came through. I don't know how what the when a guy overcomes being hacked like that. Like he went 5'8". Is there a term for it? It was hack-a-lively. The only thing I got is like, it's not good. But in this situation where the Mavs have come from this after tanking last season to get this guy, it spanked the tank. It's not that good. It's not. I don't know how. What a rebuttal for hack. It's usually hack.
Like when you come through on the hacking.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a good one.
We can come up with something for sure. Let's throw it at everybody on the stream team. Hack listening.
Season 3 now available on Max.
Written by Joe Mandy. That's right.
It's a great series. Very, very funny.
I did like when they were trying to do Hack-A-Lively, and he was just literally running away from the defense.
Chet with his arms out straight, chasing him like a Frankenstein.
Literally catch him for a bit. But yeah, it was ballsy, a kid to put him back in.
Totally, yeah.
It's like, hey man, you got to go in there and hit free throws. They're gonna do it. There's time left, and he did. Yeah, so then they had to basically stop doing it at that point.
Yeah, but pretty impressive for Lively. I thought he played great in this game, despite the fact that he couldn't make some of the free throws and just can't score at the rim. Like 2 for 8, I think, in this one, but big time on the glass, big time at the rim. He closed this for Daniel Gafford, even though he was getting hacked and chased down by Chet. Mavs just made a whole bunch of little plays that added up to the win. Like there was a turnover Kyrie Irving has. They try and throw the Thunder throw an outlet pass, but Luka steals it at half court. He gets an easy layup with about 2:15 left. Then gets mixed up in a jump ball. Luka does with, who was it, Jalen Williams? Maybe. Weird call that it was a jump ball. Fortunate for the Mavs, though, because Luka wins the jump ball.
Yeah.
That was a big-time clutch play from Luka to come up with the steal at half court to win the jump ball. And then Kyrie comes through with a lefty runner. Like, great defense from Jalen Williams. Better offense from Kyrie
Exactly.
Irving. They scored 44 points combined, Kyrie and Luka, in Game 3. Got the win. Game 2, they combined for 38 points. Got the win. What happens when these guys play well?
Yeah, and if they play well, I mean, they're doing a great job defensively, especially Dort on Luka is not making it easy. Will PJ Washington continue to score 25-plus points? Like, this guy can't miss threes right now. He had another 5 in Game 3. He's on fire. I mean, it's sort of got to be your game plan a little bit. Like, somebody you got to leave open out there, but he is cashing in. And, yeah, Kyrie again, just coming alive in the second half. He finished with 22 points, 5 boards, but that was a pretty shot. I thought the exact same thing, TK. I was like, I'm not sure you can play it any better. That was great. That was great defense. Better O will always beat great D. And that was just like a perfect illustration of that. Awesome game, though. I was hyped watching this game. I just thought it was so fun. And I can't wait for Game 4. And we did see, my other note was, like, all season long, right? We're like, what's the OKC's Thunder's one weakness? Probably their rebounding. They're short on big guys. And for the most part, it hadn't been a problem. Like, in the regular season, obviously, they had number 1 seed in the first round. Not really an issue. Even through the first couple games, wasn't that big a deal. Game 3, we had at one point, the Mavs had 15 offensive rebounds to OKC's 1 at one point in this game. Yeah. They sort of made it up a little bit later. But, that's where, they got punished in a very close game. Those obviously matter. So we'll see if they can shore that up in Game 4.
Yeah. Just got to work for it a little bit harder, box out a little bit harder. That would seem to be the problem. They just couldn't score coming down the stretch, really what it came down to. It was a close game. It was a 3-point game when you mentioned that Isaiah Joe turnover when he got a beautiful steal. It's a 3-point game, 2:15 left. He goes behind his back, beautiful dribble up the court, but he didn't see Luka or just... This was a 3-on-2, basically, and he kind of threw it ahead, and that would have been totally different if it's a 1-point game. But, Luka gets that
Luka
steal.
read it. He definitely read it, and then he jumped on it, and, it was an easy steal.
Easy layup.
But it was a big, big play. And SGA, who had a great game, overall, but rough fourth quarter. Yeah. Turnovers were there. I think he went 1 for 6 in the fourth. He was carrying them for a good portion of this game.
31 again.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he does. 31 points. The Giddey, we debated last week, what will they do? Will they bench him? You said, they're probably going to keep starting him. They did. Not that it went all that well still. And you wonder, will he
Didn't go bad.
This was his best game.
It was his best game.
-1.
Right. I guess better than
he's a target. The offense is bad. We know he can't play offense. The bad part is that they score on him every time defensively, and he's not helping on the glass. So I don't really know what's the point of it, except for keeping him mentally in it.
Yeah.
But guess what? He's not going to be part of this team going forward. They'll trade him. It makes sense to trade him when he doesn't fit.
Yeah, I think
so. They want to kill his trade value either. They got to get those picks back, but. They're trying everything they can. Let him come off the bench. Let him be the point guard off the bench. Yeah. But they don't trust him because they'd rather have Jalen Williams have the ball, understandably.
Yeah, he made a few mistakes. He scored 9 in his 13 minutes. He did things well.
He hit 1 3, I think.
Yeah, he did. But there's other guys that didn't come through. Aaron Wiggins had a terrible turnover where he threw the ball out of bounds. I would be more worried about Gordon Hayward's 3 minutes that he's now playing. They just have to yank him out of the rotation entirely. What are we waiting for? Because he can't. He can't score.
I did the math. Gordon Hayward hasn't scored yet this playoffs.
No.
He's played 46 minutes. 22 minutes away from the most playoff minutes all time without scoring. John Hummer played 68 minutes for the 74-75 Supersonics.
John Hummer. Jeez. Wow.
Get a Hummer.
Way to get in.
John Hummer.
Get a Hummer.
What does he look like?
Man. I bet he's white. Just guessing.
Yeah. Get a Hummer to show up to the arena and put Gordon Hayward in it and get him out of there. There's no reason he should be playing.
Wait a second. This guy became a venture capitalist?
Hummer's still going? What is he investing in?
Vehicle? This guy rich?
He helped Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez invest in the Minnesota Timberwolves? Who is this guy? Is he alive?
He's alive. He's 76 years old.
Hummer did it.
He's an Ivy Leaguer. Seems to be a smart guy who's had a lot more success away from the court, from what I can tell.
Okay. Well, maybe Maybe that's in Gordon Hayward's future as well. Yeah,
I will say,
so.
like the Luka Shea thing was fun in the fourth quarter. Where Shea drove into Luka. Luka hit the floor, was trying to draw a charge.
Yeah.
He gets up, and after the play is over, Shea's talking a little trash to him. We're like, come on, man, that was a flop, total flop. So they're talking a little bit of trash together. They met before, I think, Game 3 when Shea had on that beige outfit and Luka saw him in the hallway. They're boys, and they talk trash to each other. So that's fun. Luka played D hard enough. I thought the next play, he got in Shea's way, and then he got in Dort's way. Like, he is playing hard on that end and doing enough. Just doing enough. Like, he scored this 29 in Game 2 to win that game. Didn't have a big scoring night in this game, but just doing enough. This team, they're scrapping. Everybody's scrapping.
Yep. The final game from the weekend was the Celtics-Cavs. We had Jayson Tatum sort of getting unlocked a little bit. He scored 33. Jaylen Brown was once again awesome. But the Celtics rebound from their loss to beat the Cavs 106-93. Trey Kirby, any takeaways from Game 3 here?
You mentioned, I think this is the best Tatum game we've seen so far in the playoffs. 33 points, only went 11 of 25 from the field, but a lot of that is because his jumper's just broken right now. 2 for 8 from 3, but Tatum took 9 free throws, which was huge. He had 7 shots at the rim, layups or dunks. He was flexing, he's like, I'm a big, strong guy. He is a big, strong guy. He should be able to score inside against the Cavs, and in Game 3, he made it a point, I thought, to get inside. The Celtics scored 50 points in the paint. That's the most they've had so far this series. They were also great getting out in transition, 12-8 on the fast break points, and they hit enough threes, 13. Didn't get outshot by the Cavs, who made 12 threes as well. So a solid win from the Celtics. It looks a little closer than it was. The Cavs got it back in the end, but this was a 20-point game basically going into the fourth quarter. A good response, I thought, from Boston after the way they went down in Game 2.
The best Tatum game of his playoffs, you're right. The best game for Drew Holiday as well. He was scoring at the rim, going hard. Lefty hook for Drew Holiday, taking that at Evan Mobley, going on LeVert. He's scoring on everybody. But, the combination, we're talking about multiple good players like the champs that they could be seeing in the NBA Finals. They got it from everybody in this game. They really did. Performances from their top 4 with no Porzingis and Holiday, Tatum. I thought Jaylen Brown was good, and Derek White.
Yeah.
They all hit multiple threes, and it was cool to see Jaylen Brown as the second quarter man. Usually in past postseasons, he's the let's get this thing going guy in the first quarter, but he was the second quarter guy, so they changed it up. It is that team, like we talk about the Denver Nuggets, where Aaron Gordon can be awesome, and this guy can be awesome, and this guy can be awesome. They have everybody. They were just good in transition and assertive, which is where they had their farts in Game 2, where they weren't themselves, right? They just weren't themselves.
Yeah, and they even said it after the game. Jaylen Brown, I love this quote. Quote, "We don't come to Cleveland for the weather, so let's go. There's nothing complicated about it. Play defense and the rest will take care of itself." I'm sure it was a nice day in Cleveland. I don't
So that's what he's saying? Like, let's end the game as quick as possible?
He's just saying we don't come here for the weather. We come here to play basketball. Let's go. Okay. Let's play defense. And they did. They opened the second half on a 14-0 run. This is when the game sort of ended. They took a 23-point lead there. So they came out of the halftime and put this one away. And Drew Holiday, I did write that down too. Yeah, his best game. 18 points, 5 assists, 8 boards. He had been pretty underwhelming through Boston's first, 7 games here in the postseason. He was shooting 36% overall, 32 from deep. He was averaging like 8 points. Now, I know Drew Holiday's not out there as your scorer. You got Jaylen Brown, you got Tatum, you got these other guys, but you want a little bit more. And we've talked about Drew Holiday in the past. Like, he has these playoff moments where he struggles to score or shoot. So this was a really good game from him. And then Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell did his part. He hit a bunch of threes, but nobody else could. The rest of the Cavs shot 5 of 24 from distance. And so this is what got them their first loss here in the postseason at home. Though we did see Dean Wade.
Dean Wade is back.
His first game since early March. He played 16 minutes. He was, I believe, a plus 12 in defeat, but 5 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. But maybe that's good moving forward for Cleveland to try and tie this up in Game 4, which goes down tonight. Because I don't know. I don't think we're seeing Jared Allen at this point in this series.
Right.
Who knows? But he's got a rib injury. That's never good. So...
Put on a flak jacket. Playoffs, buddy.
Yeah,
Dean Wade's out there.
It's so weird, too, when you saw the play that they thought it happened. Like, it looks so like nothing. Looks like barely like a little tap of an elbow or like an arm on the rib. I don't know.
What, this guy needs his lungs to breathe?
I know. It's ridiculous. Get him in some water.
Dean Wade, maybe he could start.
Yeah.
because Al Horford's just chilling on Isaac Okoro out there. Bad game for Okoro, 1 for 7 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3, and they're literally just using him as a place for Al Horford to rest because Al Horford is ancient at this point, and he just played 40 minutes in the game. So if you have to make him either guard Mobley, he's going to be moving around a whole bunch more, or Dean Wade, a guy who can shoot it from outside and draws a little bit more respect than Okoro. I could see that happening, but the guy just came back after basically 2 months on the shelf. Is he going to be able to play 25 minutes? Who knows?
Yeah, he was key to their team that was awesome for that long during the regular season. He was monstrous. I saw Jason Lloyd write about it on The Athletic. Maybe we start Dean. It would make sense. And Isaac Okoro just hit a low in minutes for this one. He played 17 minutes because Dean Wade was coming on for him and hitting shots, and Karis LeVert off the bench coming shots. So yeah, maybe you got to tighten it up a little bit to hit threes, because this wasn't a blowout for the Boston Celtics because they're hitting way more threes. They only hit one more three. But if you're going to beat this Boston Celtics team without the top-end talent like Boston has, it's probably going to be splashing some threes.
Game 4 tonight. Can't wait. All right, let's get to the NBA draft lottery. This happened on Sunday.
Yes, it did.
It was a little weird.
I
Can't say I was a fan of it on the in the Sunday afternoon spot.
Why?
I don't know. Especially, I guess, on Mother's Day. I'm sure you guys were doing things, or maybe you weren't. Maybe you had some brunches.
Yeah.
Any Taylor Swift concerts you were going to? I don't know.
No, the draft lottery is bigger than Mother's Day in our household.
Okay, interesting.
Our kids love ping pong balls.
I did turn it on, and then Danielle said, "What is that?" And I said, "Don't worry, I'm turning it off." We left. We were going somewhere.
Well, there you go.
I watched
That's my point.
a good 15 seconds.
Okay, good. Well, let me tell you what happened.
It took them a while to get into it.
What a shock. Yeah. Anyway, the Atlanta Hawks, super cacaws all around. The Hawks rocketed up the board to grab the number 1 pick in this year's NBA draft. They won the lottery for the first time in their franchise history. Hawks had just a 3% chance to win this thing. The 5th lowest odds by a team to win the number 1 pick since the lottery began in '85. And you see it there on YouTube. Hawks 1, Wizards 2, Rockets 3, that's by way of the Nets, Spurs 4, and then the rest of the teams are poor Pistons. Once again, having the number 5 pick. The Pistons won 17 games 2 seasons ago, 14 games this season, and they're going back to back with the number 5 picks.
I think 3 in a row, right?
Yeah, is it 3 in a row? Yeah.
5th pick as well, yeah.
This year marks the 6th straight season in which the team with the worst record did not select first overall, coinciding with the new lottery format there, with the new odds and all that, which began in 2019. But anyway, your thoughts on the draft lottery, big winners, big losers, wherever you want to go with it.
Well, I was happy that the Hawks got the number 1 pick. Maybe not as happy as Landry Fields, who was cheesing ear to ear when he found out he was moving into the top 4. Like, what? And then when he finally gets the number 1, yeah, buddy. Big summer for this guy, because, wow, do the Hawks have some options here?
Yep.
We knew that they were going to be an active team coming into the summer regardless. Maybe Trae Young is heading out. Maybe DeJounte Murray is heading out. They've got a lot of other pieces that could go, whether it be Capella or Okongwu. Right. You know, Bogdanovich is kind of a superfluous player as well. DeAndre Hunter, I'm sure they would love to move on from. And now they're throwing the number 1 pick into the mix. It's like, are they going to trade the number 1 pick and one of their guards to bring in a player and build around the other guard? Are they going to keep the number 1 pick, trade both the guards, try and bring in some more picks in a full-on rebuild mode? That lets you extend your job security for a long, long time if you do that. Or are they going to keep both the guards, draft whoever at number 1 and try and build around those guys, since the potential number 1 pick, Alex Sarr, brings it defensively more so than the offensive end, and obviously that's something that the Hawks need to work on. There's a lot of things to do, and I think the Hawks getting number 1 alongside the Rockets getting up to 3 and the Pistons getting up to 5 in a bad draft, it feels like there's going to be a ton of trades, right? Because, like, do the Pistons want another 5th pick? Or do they actually want to be good next season? Do the Rockets need to draft 3rd again, or would they like to bring in a vet to help them get to the playoffs? Who knows? It feels like we're going to have a lot of motion around the draft this season.
Yeah, I think even Woj was saying the Rockets may look to move that number 3 pick. Do they want another young guy? Could they get another vet guy? But then the problem is, because there is no consensus franchise-changing guy in this draft, everyone's like, well, what could you even get in return for some of these picks? Like, you hear from the experts, they're like, not a lot. Like, you might get, like, the 5th or 6th best player on a team for one of these high lottery picks, which sounds crazy, but maybe that's the case. Any thoughts on the lottery here, or what the Hawks should do, or what you think they'll do?
Yeah, I definitely think the Rockets will trade their pick. I mean, they got Cam Whitmore yet last year. I just don't know if they keep drafting players after being a 41-41 win team. But I say that, and I think about that. I think that for basically every team, because it feels like at this time of year, after the draft lottery, we all think, wow, that team's going to do some stuff. That team's going to make trades. And then it really never ends up happening. We just see like a couple happen. And maybe somebody just in some front office feels like, oh, that guy, I think that guy's going to be the guy. Let's get the number 6 pick. Let's go get that guy. So to be determined. Obviously excited for the Hawks, that they may go in what direction, I don't know.
I feel like you were the only people excited for the Hawks. It felt like the Hawks won this draft lottery and people were just shitting on it. Like, oh, God, the Hawks, they won. I don't know why. It was a weird reaction to it.
People hate the draft and nobody watches the Hawks.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
An understandable reaction.
And there's no clear number 1 guy.
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
People are comparing this draft potentially to the 2013 draft, which was Anthony Bennett going number 1, Oladipo 2, Otto Porter Jr., Cody Zeller, Alex Len, Nerlens Noel, Ben McLemore, KCP, Trey Burke, CJ McCollum, Michael Carter-Williams. And then, that's right, I was going to say, go get the 15th pick in this year's draft, because that was Giannis.
Oh, or draft French. Rudy Gobert was also in that draft.
That's right. He was a little bit later, wasn't he?
Draft Alex.
He was later.
Yeah, it was 27.
So we'll see. Who knows? I mean, there's obviously going to be some good players. But yeah, there's not the guy like last year with Wembanyama. And the Spurs, by the way, they have 2 picks here in the top 8 because they got the Raptors pick.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Not great, Bob. But it was just going to keep rolling over. So I guess if it's a shitty draft, they keep saying it's a shitty draft, just give it up, get rid of it now, so that won't be an issue. But still stinks. It's the Pirtle trade. They traded all their guys. They leaned into being bad, and they were, and they don't have a pick to show for it. Not at least a lottery pick. They have a couple picks later on. But Spurs have the number 4 pick and the number 8 pick here. Will that team be aggressive in trying to package those together to try and go get a point guard? Hell, will they trade for Trae Young to try and pair with Wembanyama? So everything's in play here. Can't wait. Any other thoughts?
The Nets are giving up their 3rd top 3 pick since 2016.
Wow.
Jaylen Brown, the pick that became Markelle Fultz, which was traded for Jayson Tatum in this one.
Mm-hmm. And this was the James Harden trade.
Yes.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay.
That's pretty tough to do.
Man. That's pretty tough.
I think they've won 50 or more games once since 1977 and given up a top 3 pick 3 times in 8 years.
Yeah. You don't want both of those things.
No.
And just to add on to this, Shams reporting that Bronny James is expected to stay in the draft.
Okay, so Hawks should take him number 1.
It sure looks like he will be in the draft.
Call LeBron's bluff.
Yeah.
I saw him post, we're coming to ATL, shouty.
Let's go.
Yeah. Once upon a time, Bronny James was mocked to the Atlanta Hawks at like the number 17 pick or something like that. They can draft anybody with number 1.
All right. Let's hear everybody's thoughts on the draft lottery. How did it go for your team? Good or bad? I guess we had like the Pistons moving down, obviously.
They keep on doing that.
We had the Hornets moving down. We had the Blazers moving down because a lot of those teams like
9 and 10 moved up.
Yeah,
yep.
9 and 10 moved up. There you go.
Yeah, the Pistons keep on being bad, one of the worst records, and then they keep dropping.
And who do you like at what do you got? The 11th pick for the Chicago Bulls? Who do you like at 11? Who you got your eye on?
I don't know, man.
Ron Holland?
I'm hoping one of the good guys drops. Zachary Risache.
Oh,
Dalton Connect. Actually, I'll tell you what, I don't want Dalton Connect. I saw his ankles yesterday. He was wearing his socks the wrong way.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he was wearing NBA stance socks, and he had the NBA logo on the inside of his leg. So
I got to get on the outside.
I can't tell his feet apart.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if I like him as an NBA prospect.
Maybe Zach Edey will be there for you at 11.
I don't want him.
No, you don't want a big guy, big body?
Can't get his feet apart. That sounds like a Donovan Clingan to me.
All right.
I liked when Clingan was like a mid lottery pick.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's rocketed up the boards right now.
Yeah. You don't like him as much when he's like a top 3 pick. Yeah. People are saying like, is he? But maybe it's that type of draft. Who knows? All right, before we go, let's get to Tweet of the Night.
Tweet of the Night. Wow.
Twitter. The tweet of the night comes from the weekend, obviously. It's about basketball. I just wanted to show a little love to our friend, @JaredWade, who tweeted, I keep expecting Donovan Mitchell's playoffs exploits to slow down, but he just effortlessly effortlessly pours in points even when his surrounding cast looks worthless. It's really mind-blowing how great he is in the postseason. And then Jared sharing this pic here, which we're showing you on YouTube, of the greatest scorers in postseason history, per game averages. And it's just a fun list. It's Michael Jordan, number 1, Luka 2, Allen Iverson 3, Durant, Jerry West, LeBron, and they're at number 7, 28 points per game in his postseason career is Donovan Mitchell. This guy's played in 54 playoff games. So this is a pretty good sample size here at this point. 28 points per game. And again, we glossed over it because the Cavs, unfortunately, nobody helped him out, but he had another good game there in game 3. And this guy just scores in the postseason. It is pretty impressive. So,
and he's played on a lot of limited offensive teams where he's the only guy that can score.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah, he takes a lot of shots. Anthony Edwards, 3rd in postseason points per game. He just hasn't played enough games.
Yeah.
He's only played 19 games, but he'd be, right behind Luka, I guess?
Okay, good call.
Yep.
And I was like, how many games did Iverson play, postseason games? You want to take a guess? Mitchell played finals. 54. I was like,
fairly light.
100?
Yes.
It's way lighter than 100. Yeah, it's 71.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be a little bit more as well, especially with a finals run in them, and obviously some games there for the Nuggets. Played in a couple postseasons with them, but 71. So anyway, my point is Mitchell's not that far behind total playoff games with Iverson. So 28 points per game is pretty amazing.
I looked at the numbers. He shoots the 2nd lowest percentage of the top 10 behind Iverson, which kind of made me just more impressed with how good Kevin Durant is. When you're talking about field goal attempts per game in the playoffs, Kevin Durant is 17th on the list.
Jeez.
And what was he in scoring?
He was 4 or something like that. Yeah.
This guy's awesome.
Top 5, yeah.
Hasn't been maximized yet, though, as a player. We'll see what the Suns can do.
see what we can figure it out.
See what Coach Bud's got.
Oh, yeah, it's basically official. 5 years for Bud.
That was quick. The interview process was basically 5 seconds.
Hey, you got a championship? Yeah. Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah.
You're our coach.
That HBO went from, the house is not on fire, we're good, you're fired, you're hired. That was fast.
It works quick, that guy, man. That guy works quick. Yeah, we'll see what he can do there. All right, let's call it there. 2 Game 4s on tonight. Celtics, Cavs, 7 o'clock start on TNT, followed by Thunder, Mavs. Can't wait for that one. That one feels huge for, obviously, the Thunder to try and tie that up, to steal one on the road and give us a best-of-3 series. Otherwise, Dallas, I don't know. I don't think I'd say it's over, but, man, a 3-1 lead with how close these two teams are, that'd be big. So excited for that one. That's 9:30 on TNT. We also should have a special guest stopping by the Classic Factory tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say. That's right, yeah. That's all I'm going to say. That's a tease for you guys out there. So hit the like button, subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll be here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Until then, Clipper Bro.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, even if you don't get on camera during the NBA playoffs, your hand might. Like it did in Dallas there. What was that? The guy in front of the ESPN camera just kept throwing his arms up. And then it went down because I think he got yelled at. Put your hand down!
It's not his fault.
It's ESPN's fault?
Yeah.
What?
Come on, he's a fan.
Don't shoot behind
the
the
one
seat.
was funny.
Yeah,
the one was
fault.
amazing where you couldn't see if the ball went in because he literally blocked the net perfect.
I want to know where his ring came from. He's got a ring on.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's married, I guess. It looked like a ring.
Oh, wedding.
I
thought you meant it was like a special,
No. I'm just commenting, and maybe he's got a sponsorship. Maybe.
You think that guy's in his seat tonight? Same guy?
Same guy, same seat. No way. ESPN paid him to leave.
Oh, wow.
There's a question.
First he signs a deal with Jostens to get his ring on there, and now he's getting paid off by ESPN to not show his ring.
That worked out.
Double dipping.
How much would you have to be offered to leave a playoff game
Good question.
of your team that you're enjoying, obviously celebrating? We'll see. We'll see if he's there tonight. Keep your eye on that guy, everybody. Keep your eye on that hand and that ring. We'll be back. Race the day, people.